Thank you very much, guys, and thank you, Broxa, for joining me. Congratulations on making it further. So now I want to know, because when I talked to Bripo last week or 2 weeks ago, he told me that you wanted to face Vitality no matter what. So, okay, smart move, obviously, but why?
Well, I think it showed today that we match up pretty well against Vitality. Their main strategy throughout the split and even last year has always been playing for top lane, just trying to snowball through top, and we were pretty confident that Bwipo would be able to dodge most of the ganks and most of the potential dives coming at him. And at the same time, just individually, I think we match up pretty well against them. And yeah, our control-based style just matches up really well against the top-centered, spam ganking top style. I think we showed why we picked them today.
I agree with you, but it makes me wonder if is it Vitality underperforming lately, or do you think that teams are catching up on them?
I feel like it's hard to say. I think in the past weeks in the LEC, there's been so many weird things happening and everything has been shaking up, and Vitality definitely has been one of the teams looking a bit weaker. But at the same time, it's hard to say if they would look as weak if they were playing on one of the other playoff teams, right? I just think we match up so well against them, and we had a really good game plan coming into today, so it was hard for them to, grab the leads they needed to win the games.
Yeah, it came flawless from you today, even though they did their homework, especially with the level 1 strat. They were expecting it. Do you feel like it's a strategy overused from you guys?
I think generally it's kind of funny how people always expect us to cheese level 1, and I heard so many interviews coming into this day where people said that Fnatic has to cheese level 1 to win, and if they don't late invade or cheese level 1, then they are a pretty weak team. And today we showed that even if we play completely normally, if we just play a slow and normal game, then we are just as strong as we are when we make level 1 plans, right? So I think the whole meme of Fnatic having to cheese to win games is kind of overused, and we are definitely scary regardless if we cheese or not.
All right, so outside of the memes, what did you guys prepare against them coming in today?
Sorry, what?
What did you guys prepare against Vitality coming today?
Well, I guess one of the main things was looking at how to survive the top lane focus. How do we make sure that we put Bwipo in a position to avoid dying to all these ganks, and especially with a draft like the first one where they played Lucian, Talia, Jarvan, it was pretty scary for us. How we knew that we had to try to find a way to keep Bwipo alive in order for the Lucian not to snowball out of control. But generally, we had pretty good communication on when they could make a play top. Bwipo was really aware of this. Sometimes he dropped a few waves to make sure he didn't die, and we just played really well around it because we knew what was coming.
It makes me sad in a way, because when I did my preparation this week, I was expecting to see an Urgot in the jungle. Everybody was expecting so, and we didn't see any, even in the banning phase. So how do you explain that?
I think Urgot jungle is definitely a thing right now. Whether it's going to be played or not, not going to comment too much on that. I guess time will tell, but it's definitely something to look out for.
All right, so moving forward, you will face whoever wins tomorrow. It's going to be either Splice or SK Gaming. Who do you think will take it?
I think it's pretty hard to say, honestly. Splice and SK match up pretty closely against each other, in my opinion. But I would give a small edge to Splice. Like, I would probably predict Splice 3-1 or 3-2.
All right, interesting insight. We'll see about this tomorrow. Thank you, Broxa, for joining me. We still have many things to say about this series, so let's send it over to Shox for PGL.
If you have a good answer, and if you don't,
welcome everyone to the LEC post-game lobby after the first day of playoffs. It was a swift one. My name is Shox. I'm here with Fisho, Reckless, and Hilly-sang at Fisho's Been Here All Day. You guys just joined. Congratulations. We, of course, already heard from Broxa. Maybe Hilly, you first. Why do you think it was such a quick 3-0 for you guys today?
I think we just know how to not lose against them, and this is giving us advantage. And we knew their weaknesses, and we knew how to basically how they win the games. So that basically gave us like huge advantage to the game, and we knew how to abuse their weaknesses as well. So I think we're just good match against Vitality, and it showed.
Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot also from the analysts, like it's just a good matchup, but you also played well yourselves, right, Reckless? Or do you think you didn't have to put in 100% today?
I think they made a lot of mistakes, but at the same time, we're not really making any of our own. So I guess you could say that we're playing well. It's just, as Hilly said, it's kind of easy for us because we know how they want to win the game. So we can just like make a plan around that. And in this case, it was through top lane. So we just made sure Bwipo was at least in an okay state. And then we knew that eventually, we would take over from the bot lane. So in the first game, they kind of gave it to us with the play that you actually see on screen right now. But even then, if this game goes on for another 10, 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to get my items and then we just win, right? Yeah. Same thing kind of happens for the second game where we outscale once again. And then the third game, we have more of an equal scaling, I would say, with the Sivir versus Jinx. But in that case, we killed them 2v2 twice.
Really, do you ever think you were like playing 2v2? Or do you feel when you're playing this game with your team behind you that it's just like, no, it doesn't matter, because even if we mess up here, we know we're going to have the big plan and win the game?
I mean, it depends. Like, all these games, it felt like in the beginning it wasn't 2v2. Like, we always got some enemy jungle advantage. Like, enemy was like kind of pressuring, even though he was not showing. We respected a lot, so it didn't feel like in the beginning, in the first 3 levels, that we had 2v2. It always felt like we're getting ganked. And then after like level 4 and 5, it felt like we're playing 3v2 because we had the jungle on our side and they had the jungle on top side. So I think it didn't really feel like a 2v2 matchup.
Yeah.
But once it was 2v2, I feel like even in a losing matchup, we could win it. So I think it was very good.
Yeah, the difference just looked very big today, didn't it?
Yeah, I really like that Fnatic didn't really have to show anything new. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this, and they came in playing effectively the same style that we have seen in the last couple of weeks, like the Splice game you guys win, that gives us where you guys log in 3rd place. Kind of the same, get a couple of kills on bottom side, Nemesis roams down, Broxah plays towards the lane, and the same thing happened here. I think Vitality, sadly for them, not the strongest late game team, so that was never going to be a way to win. And not really good at playing around the bottom side without overextending or maybe going aggressive at the wrong times. No TP top side, 4 members are just shown from Fnatic, or whatever it is. It gives a couple of easy kills over to Reckless every time, and then it's uphill.
Yeah, it was. Also, some specifics. Bwipo got camped really hard in that first game and second game. Can you tell us about maybe the comms at that point? Because 2 times he just turns it around. He even kills them in the first game and completely negates all the pressure they put on him. Was he being his usual self?
I mean, I thought he was fully aware that this was going to happen. So
yeah.
He was mentally prepared for the moment that it were happening. But at the same time, we were kind of surprised, to see him come out ahead. In the first game with, I think it was GP, and then in the last game here where he cancelled Herald, and I think he almost got out as well on the Sion. So, I mean, maybe not every top laner can do this, where they just tank the pressure so much, but we knew Bwipo could, so we were kind of confident or comfortable with our plan of him just, doing his thing up there and the rest of us trying to snowball as much as possible.
Yeah, it feels like it goes back to, Vitality is going to do this, so you're just prepping for it.
Yeah, I think he got surprised by one gank only once in the whole series, which was like, he got ganked on the 4th wave or 5th wave. Then he knew it was coming. Then on the 6th wave, he got ganked again. He knew it was coming. Then he thought enemy jungle backed off, and he did Herald, meanwhile. Took Herald, and then he got ganked on the 8th wave again. And then he was shocked. He was like, oh my god, he's still top lane, and he just died. And it was kind of... He said, it's my bad, I should have expected that. But it was really shocking that he spent 3 minutes top lane and he fell behind so much on levels and stuff.
But it's actually great to see, because I feel like last year, there was only one playstyle from Bwipo top lane, which was very much aggressive, try and win lane very hard.
Or tank, yeah.
Or he could be stuck on the tank, obviously. Even then, he would probably try and win his lane if he could. And now I think he talked about this as well on Euphoria, about trusting that someone else on the map can actually be the win condition, so you don't have to be the one to do it. He could have gone for 1 million fights top. He could have called Broxah up there multiple times, said we can 2v2 these guys or whatever, but he didn't have to.
I had Cartisol.
He did have cast assault. It was very useful, obviously, but it's good to see kind of that evolution and the growth from him.
I agree. As we're going down the line, we talked about 3 members already. Broxah is the key up player of the game with 59% of the votes. It was Bwipo, Reckless, or Broxah, and it doesn't happen often that you get beat, Reckless, because the fandom is just so strong. So it must mean that Broxah played really well. Can you guys confirm this?
Yeah, I think I mean, the Carter's games, he did his job, it doesn't look impressive, but he got levels ahead, and he was doing a lot of damage in team fights. And the last game, Rek'Sai, he got a lot of levels advantage and he was killing people, so I understand why he got the MVP.
Yeah, me too. Do you think in the last weeks he's just become more of his old self together with all of you?
I think he was always good. It's just when you're losing games, it's easy to pinpoint
The jungler.
mistakes of each player. Meanwhile, we might still have them right now. It's just we're winning, so no one kind of tries to pinpoint anything. Everyone's just cheering and being happy, right? So
Yeah, enjoy.
I don't think any of us were like extremely boosted or anything in the beginning of the season, and now are gods. I think we're still the same players with the same strengths and weaknesses, but we're just winning now, so people don't, flame us.
Yeah, but something must have changed. I mean, it's not what you guys said in the beginning. We didn't change.
I mean, I think we just got good as a team. I don't think anyone got like specifically good as a player. I mean, we were always good individually, so for me, it was just a matter of time until we figured out how we play together. And once we did that, we started winning games.
Yeah.
So.
And now you're scary. And you have to go up maybe versus OG in the future. Of course, not in the next round. But what do you think, Fisho?
You have to respect Fnatic. I don't think you need to be too scared of Fnatic just yet. I'm not saying that they're going to be easy by any means, and you should 100% respect them as a team. But I don't know. I'm very interested in seeing how they're going to play against either Splice or SK in the next series. And then when they face G2 on the Saturday as well in Rotterdam, that's going to be an interesting matchup. So there's a lot of games we can scout before we get to play them.
Well, now that you mention it, let's take a look at the bracket, which is a bit more filled out. Fnatic, of course, advance to round 2, and then they'll face off against Splice or SK Gaming with the new system. And of course, then in round 2 next week, we'll also see G2 versus OG. So yeah, things are definitely hyping up in that regard. When you look at this now, you guys, I know your aspirations are to lift the trophy, of course, but how difficult do you think it's going to be?
You have anything good to say?
I don't know. I actually, even against Vitality, I respect like kinda every team in the same level, except maybe G2 with Mikex a bit above rest. But even like Vitality is very difficult opponent if you don't know how to beat them. So I think SK, Splice, OG, I think they're all the same and they're equally scary, for me at least.
Yeah.
And I respect all of them, and we can lose against them and we can trio them. So it's just matter of preparation, I think.
So it's G2 that is the biggest hurdle,
Yes.
which I think is logical. Yeah, the Fisho?
Can I ask a little bit differently? I feel that the top teams are better this split than, let's say, last split, where you guys ended up facing Schalke. But obviously, you guys played against all these different teams. Do you guys also feel that the teams now are slightly better, so it's a harder road towards the final, or is it exactly the same as last split?
Maybe there's 3 good teams now instead of 2. But even last year, misses were okay, We were just really good. But they were okay in their semifinals against us. So I don't think it's too much of a difference. It's just like Yuli said, we need to prepare well. And if we don't, we are potentially going to lose against some of these teams, maybe all of these teams. Even today, I think if we didn't come in with the plan that we had, then maybe we could have lost today. So
Yeah, but you came in with a plan, which is the TLDR. So do you think is there one team that's harder to prepare for than anyone else? Because when I look at it, I think, Splice, they have a pretty set style. SK, you also know what you're going to get. Selfmade's going to pop off. I'm not so sure about G2 and OG necessarily, because I think throughout the split, they've shown very different things at times. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I think, as I said, OG is not very scary team. They have set play style and you know what to expect. But speaking of G2, they're the scary team if they play with Mikex and he's on his top form, and they can play around every lane, and you need to shut down Cap so he will pop off, and that's kind of scary and hard to prepare. And yeah, that's my point, because I just think that every team except G2 has a certain play style, and you can prep for it, but not for G2.
Yeah. Do you guys think you guys have a very identifiable and beatable playstyle?
Decently, I would say. I mean, everyone can carry. I think that was the biggest issue today for Vitality, that they only had Cabo as like the potential carry, and if he weren't going to do it, then no one was going to do it. So I think the scariest teams to go up against are teams that have multiple members who can carry, or have the enemy jungle who can carry. Because, for example, today when we play against Vitality, right, we know that Cabo is going to be the threat, so he's on top lane, so we just need to carry off this portion of the map, right? But when you play against a team like SK, even though you know that Selfmade is going to play really well, you don't know where he's going to play really well because he can be everywhere. He's a jungler. Same goes for teams that have multiple members who can pop up. You don't really know where the threat is going to be. So,
Is that different from last year? Is there more possibilities for teams?
I guess that's kind of what you wanted to get at before. So potentially I would say yes to that, because when we were playing Schalke, for example, in the finals last year, we felt like if they weren't going to do it through bot lane, then it was probably not going to happen. Like Vishishachi is not a player who carries, you know, and even Nuktak last year wasn't necessarily the carry either. He was more of an enabler, I would say, towards upset. So maybe this year there are more teams with more carries, but I don't think like the strength of the teams have been like broadened. I don't think there's like more teams now that are scarier. I think it's just different ways of being scary.
You want to add something?
I think we have more teams with better overall rosters, not necessarily like an individual player being a lot better than he was last split, but I think, you know, you bring up Schalke as an example from last split, where they had Chachi, obviously, mainly just playing tanks, and then Amazing, who also really wanted to stick to tank junglers, which made it hard for them to be very unpredictable in the way they would draft. I think the big surprise they had was the Skarner. Yeah. And the moment that was shown in the final, it was kind of like, okay, now you know everything they're going to do. If I look at G2, Fnatic, and Origin now, I feel like there is better players overall across all five. If you put all five together in the skill level and you combine that, which means there are more ways you can win games. Obviously, our playstyle so far, if you look at how we've been winning a lot of games, it's not necessarily every lane just hard winning and all the turrets just dying at like 10 minutes. But I think we have seen Patrick carry games, we've seen Nuktak carry games, and we've seen Alfari carry games.
Cold.
And Cole, of course, have been able to show up in the early game. So I'm not saying we are like a team where you have to suddenly be super scared that every single player will just destroy you. But I think all our guys have shown they can actually carry games.
Yeah, and we'll see, of course, a lot of teams we haven't seen, or any teams except for you guys, we've seen in the best of fives in the split. So we'll take a look. Also, remember that you can still get your tickets for the main event in Rotterdam on the 13th and 14th of April, eu.lolesports.com/Rotterdam. Remember, Saturday, semifinal, Sunday, final, and you'll see G2 and OG for sure, and perhaps Fnatic or Splice or SK. So we'll see, of course. Now, tomorrow, we're also going to find out who Fnatic is going to play in round 2. Splice and SK are going to close out round 1 of the spring playoffs. Let's take a look.
Our first game in LEC was versus Fnatic. We were like really hyped and kind of stressed because they're basically world finalists, right? And after we won twice versus them, right, we thought that we were actually good. And the next game, we faced Misfits, we got complete obliterated.
Here comes the engage, there's the Galio, brings down the hammer, and with the might of Thor, Misfits just wipe SK off the map.
We understood that either we go playoffs or we go home.
Now we're on a bigger stage against bigger players, so the stakes are obviously higher. There's way more people watching, way more people talking about us.
I think they are overambitious. I don't really see them as a team that could play for winning the split. Selfmade is basically the only player who's playing really well. He's just overshadowing the others.
When you say Splice, I don't know what pops up into your mind, right? It's like, okay, they're a team.
People just don't like Splice. They're so boring, they don't do anything. But we're never bad, we're always really close to actually making it. What keeps me going is my own skill, that I know that in the right situation I'm able to win everything. Because of the narrative that, oh, I'm always so underrated, I don't think I ever got the opportunities that I feel like I deserve.
Everybody's like, yeah, he's really underrated. So if everybody says you're underrated, I don't think you're underrated anymore. People are realizing he's good. Yeah, I'm just excited to play against Kobe since I think he's one of the best in EU right now.
Chachi's on the break, the only man who's been on this team the whole time, it's Kobe! And it's a party for Splice!
Even now I think we're a good team in Splice, but at the same time I see like 4 other really good teams, so I know it's really hard, but I always have the mindset that it's doable.
We can compete and we can actually win the split.
I think we're gonna do well in playoffs.
We are proving ourselves as a team.
For this playoffs you need to win 4 series in a row. Let's say we beat SK, it's nice, but I just see it as the first step. You just gotta take like one opponent at a time.
For sure, every single round in playoffs, we are looking to win them and then make it to finals and win finals.
There we go then. Kabi saying, yes, there's 4 other good teams. You can make of that what you will. Maybe he doesn't think too highly of SK Gaming, but that's who they're playing, and I think SK's run has been very impressive. Same can be said for Splice. I mean, they were the most exciting Splice, I think, for me, I've seen in a long time. They had some really strong games in the second half of the split. What are your general thoughts about that game tomorrow or that match tomorrow, Reckless?
Well, I think there was a reason why we chose Vitality over SK, so I wouldn't take it like as a free run or anything for Splice, but I think both teams have like really strong parts and really weak parts, so you might see, you know, a test of whichever playstyle is better.
You mean Selfmade versus Copy?
Yeah, basically whatever you have on your screen right now. But otherwise, I mean, personally, I'm not too worried. You know, if we, as I said last week or 2 weeks ago when I was here, that if we had the choice of picking Splice, we would have picked Splice over Vitality. So if you were to see them go through, you know, we're obviously happy. And even if we were to see SK go through, I'm pretty sure we're better now than the Fnatic you saw going 0-3 against them. So
Selfmade did tweet during the game, we went 5-0 versus those teams, implying that you guys were clowning around a bit, I don't know, on the Rift, but he does have the upper hand there. Hilly, what do you think about tomorrow? Is it a clean sweep for either side? Is it a close one?
No, I think it will be a very close game. I think Splice will take it, just because I think they're a better team than SK in like against each other. If they play, I feel like Splice has better match, and yeah, I think Kobe will carry the games.
Probably a high chance that's going to happen. I think SK has won games two ways. Either Selfmade obviously kind of goes crazy and snowballs some sort of advantage, or they've gotten to late game with Crown Shot and something like a Jinx, and they've been able, I think that's also how they beat you guys in one of the games, if I'm not completely wrong. At least that's how they started picking up some wins with him. Kobe will obviously do that better. So again, all eyes goes to Selfmade. And trying to get the early advantage on his side.
That's a lot of pressure on him.
It is a lot of pressure, and I think Cersei, on the other side, he's played now in a lot of different playoff games. Like, he's been here before, and if he's able to contain Selfmade at all, or if the laners are able to respect the chance that he could actually kind of unpredictably show up, it is hard, but if they manage to do that and not fall behind early, they should just be better late game. But I'm interested to see what plan SK comes in with, because I think there is kind of this chance of early game, but there's also a chance of crown shot late, but
we'll see.
I'm not sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we look at this and we're like in the back of our minds already thinking about Fnatic, OG, G2. That's also the teams we talked about in the beginning. Vitality is now out. Do any of these teams have the potential to surprise enough to get all the way to the final?
no.
I don't think so.
Is that that's realistic then? Why not?
I think they can. I don't know who of them. I think both team can surprise. I think Splice can surprise and SK can surprise. But just make it to the finals. I don't think they can win it all. I don't think they're that good of a team, but I'm sure they can win. Like as I said, they can win against us as well if they're not prepared on the day, and if they just play crazy and coin flip the game, of course they can win. But yeah, I don't think they can win all of it. So
Reckless, that was a resounding no. Why do these teams not have what it takes?
Because then we have to lose, and I don't want to
Okay, I think that's
through
fair.
that.
That's fair.
I think Fnatic being the gatekeepers there actually kind of messes it up for them. It's not like they both get a chance to play against one of the top three teams. And with the games today, we got to see the same Fnatic we saw during the end of the regular season. There wasn't suddenly a lot of shakiness or whatever, and we started questioning everything, which makes it really difficult because to me, Fnatic, they don't rely on a super special playstyle. They don't rely on cheese or anything. They actually play this very simple, very standard. And that makes it really difficult for teams to upset them in best of fives.
Yeah, I agree. I also think stop calling like that level 1 cheese. Like any strategy you come into a game with
Exactly, they don't
is
play
a
cheese.
viable strategy. And you didn't even seem to need it. It worked
No, we
well.
don't need it.
No.
It just caps the things that we do.
Oh, okay. So Caps, you heard it. And so now you're going to have like even more level 1s.
I mean,
Maybe.
maybe.
Mind games. Anyway, after regular season, of course, all the teams, the coaches, the broadcast partners, the teams, our third-party media, we all voted for our favorites in the all-pro team and everything else. But we're going to take a look. Bittersweet for Cabochard in the very first all-pro team. Of course, no Fnatic members, where any other year, you guys kind of hogged all the places in like MVP, not rookie, of course, but most of the all-pro teams as well. Were you guys surprised that you weren't as visible in the 3 all-pro teams this year, Hilly? Or this spring?
I wouldn't say. Maybe Reckless that he's not on the first team. I was a bit surprised that Kobe is over him. So
I was going to say you.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Healy should be there at least.
no, but everyone thinks Mickey X is better, so I don't mind it, you know. I think he's pretty good. I think he's like top 1 or top 2 supports.
Reckless thinks you're underrated, apparently.
I mean, I've thought
I
that
mean-
Healy is underrated for what now, 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm underrated too, but I don't really care too much about it. I care when I'm really carrying alone and there's like not much said about me, then it a bit hurts, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that things got changed a bit, so that's good for me.
Yeah, we love talking about you. Do you think that your history is haunting you? That whole like, oh, Hilly and Unicorns of Love flashing in and dying, whatever, like all that stuff? Because sometimes you do that, but I don't think you can be faulted for your performance at all.
I actually think that support to have this type of view is very important to like make plays and sometimes like int it. I think it's important because like, for example, even in Vitality game, I was like inting with Alistar, but they used so much spells on me that I survived with 1 HP and my team just walked in and killed them all. So I think if you know how to play on the edge without making too obvious that you are like inting it, it can be very useful and good ability for supports and not hesitate because many in Europe supports are hesitating and they miss a lot of opportunities, which I don't really miss, and I just go in and I trust my team that will back me up and they trust me that I will not fuck it up. So
Yeah, it was great. I remember one instance where you went in and you, I think you got Attila and you like delivered him to Reckless on a silver plate in the topside jungle of Vitality game 1 or game 2. So that happens more than you inted.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the guys on the screen. Yeah, unfortunate for Cabochard. I mean, there wasn't a lot for him to do today, right? Or
I mean, they did play around him. He did gain some advantages top, but obviously
wasn't enough.
kind of fell apart elsewhere. Or in game 1, you know, he did manage to snowball it when he got baited with the stopwatch and he ends up dying as well. I think overall top lane was probably a competition between Wonder and him.
Yeah.
If I had to say pure individual skill, I'd probably take Wonder. But I think the impact Cabochard had for his team was obviously insane. And he's the main reason they got to this point here to face Fnatic in playoffs. So I think it is deserved that he
Did you
gets
guys
on.
vote for all these guys? Or
Good question.
you guys remember?
think so. I think we voted for every single player.
No, I didn't vote for Kobe.
Really?
I had upset over Perks over Hans, I think, or upset over Hans over Perks.
Why no Kabe? Because everyone seems to be on the Kabe hype train nowadays.
I think I voted for the same.
I mean, we played him twice, right? The split. And both
Yeah.
times I was like 9-0 and he couldn't lane. So
Ah.
it's hard to, like, from my point of view, give him that sort of respect that everyone else is giving him. But I can see why he gets it because he had a lot of games where he was popping off later on.
Data-driven decision.
I just can't buy into it myself because when we play against them, it's usually me coming out ahead. And when I play against other AD carries, I feel like they push me more to my limit, right? He kind of just lets me do whatever. And maybe he feels the same versus me, where I let him do whatever. But usually when I am allowed to do whatever I want, we get a victory screen.
Yeah, and you don't get to the late game with Splice. You guys
Exactly,
didn't,
so-
right? So you don't let them. Yeah. Deficio, high-level thoughts? No OG player. Our apologies.
Sad. I mean, Caps getting in, not a big surprise. I think Mickey getting in, not a big surprise. I know Patrick voted for Kobe as number 1 on his side.
You know why?
I just walked in and I said, Patrick, who are you voting for? Boom, boom, boom. Who are you voting for? So I'm not sure.
Is that your
his
job
reasoning.
actually at OG? You just do those things?
Yeah, actually, I only work 1 day every
Yeah,
split,
you
and that
come
is
in
when we
with-
have to get the votes. I put my name on it, so I felt important, but it was actually all the players voting.
Yeah.
I think for jungle, I don't remember if Cole put Jankos, but obviously Jankos, the first many games of the split, had
It's hard.
great performances.
With that Karthus, it's really difficult. I think. But you can also, like, it is the way it is, right?
It's true, it's true. Second half, obviously, when G2 did start playing a bit differently, he had some bad games, but I think overall people looked a lot at the start there and put him in. But I think there were a lot of junglers you could debate.
Are doing well.
You know, Selfmade was one. I actually did see a lot of people mention, you know, Cersei, Cold, Broxa here in the second half
It
as
was
well.
difficult.
Has been fantastic. So I like the jungle pool. I think there's a lot of good options, and I don't think you're completely wrong.
What's the
either way.
smallest pool?
Mid, probably, for who you could actually put first.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct. Do you guys agree?
Yeah. But I was a bit surprised to not see Tim at least top 3. think he was good the entire split, even when we were not doing well. Nemesis. Sorry.
Nemesis, yeah. Oh, I've never
He's the
heard.
only one I call for his real name.
Yeah.
We actually had a discussion when he came into the team in the beginning of Journey of what to call him. And what options do we have? I don't even want to say all of them, I think.
I mean, you wanted to call him Nemi.
Yeah, Nemi. I don't know where that came from.
Because you refused to call him Tim or something.
Yeah, it's just I never call anyone by their real name. It's just like been a habit over the
really?
years.
We only call people by
Yeah,
their real
don't you?
name.
Oh, but
Really?
you're both
Yeah.
Martin, so that would be weird.
I mean, I have like Hilly for, I don't say Hillisang, right? I say Hilly.
But Hilly, I think, has a very difficult name to pronounce, so I get that.
Hilly is also super cool.
Yeah,
Like, it
Hilly,
sounds really nice.
really nice. Yeah.
It's just never occurred to me to name someone by their actual name. But then when he came into the team, I was calling him Nemesis and just felt like
Too long.
it wasn't working out, right? So we were
Interesting.
playing around a little bit.
We all do first names also
Yeah.
because, you know, if you're out at a team activity, players get lost,
Official.
and you have to start, Nuke Dog, is there a Nuke Dog somewhere? You know, like everyone else looks at you and they're like, what's wrong with this
That's why
person?
Patrick changed
That's
his
fine.
name. He's like, I'm
There
done
you go.
with this.
Patrick is easy now on that side. But again, for mid lane, I think it's like Nuke Dog or Caps.
Yeah.
That's basically who you can put first.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, I think that's all fair. I like that discussion actually about the first names. Okay, quick question then. Question round. Your MVP and your rookie, who would it be?
I think we put Caps and rookie self-made.
Yeah. Was it difficult for MVP?
There was some discussion about it. I think there were a few different names being thrown around. Rookie was super easy. It was just like, yeah, self-made.
Yeah.
But I think Reckless is probably going to mention Tim now, or Nemi, or Nemesis, depending on what we want to call him, as a potential option as well. But I think I'm not sure if, like, Rookie has not been announced yet, right?
No. I
So
have all the information.
We don't actually know, but my prediction is it's going to be a landslide victory.
It doesn't. I don't think it's that. It wouldn't be hard to believe. Reckless.
I think we had the same.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Maybe we
it,
put Cabochard.
But I think we put Cabochard
Yeah.
for
He was number 2 on
MVP,
the
and then we put Selfmade for
Yeah, I think so.
rookie.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think unfortunately for Cabo, but he did pull up great performances so far. So we'll see if he snags away that MVP. Although not being in the playoffs anymore, we'll see in a couple of weeks. Now, of course, speaking about Nemi. Oh no, I did that by accident. The LEC organizations are also making waves in the regional leagues. Of course, Nemesis comes from Superliga. Splice Vipers, Origin Barcelona are now facing off in the Superliga Orange finals in Sevilla this Sunday. So the fish show, break it all down for us.
Everything.
Everything.
It's actually been a really fun split to watch. We had Splice Vipers barely making playoffs. They actually got through due to tiebreaker rules, where they were just better. Like in a three-way tie, they were better. So they got in as number 6. 3-0 Mad Lions, like stomped them basically.
Some well-known names over there.
Of course, I mean, so Freeze in the bot lane. Everyone will know Orome already played a game in the LEC. Tier Wolf came over from Latin America, so that is also like kind of an interesting name to follow. And Hatrix has been in Spain for a while now, so they're really, really good. Which is why they end up finally showing up big time here in playoffs and just kind of stomping their way through.
So am I correct in saying that it was a bit of a surprise that Origin Barcelona did so well?
I think if we look at predictions from the Spanish casters and analysts in the start, not a lot of people predicted a lot from Origin BCN, but they have some insane scouts like that can build a lineup that just delivers instantly.
You.
Well, I definitely don't want to take all credit there. AOD, actually our coach, just got coach of the split in Spain. He did a great job together with our manager as well, Javier, when it came to kind of finding names that...
Who?
Well, okay, I can't say it in Spanish. Chavez, easier.
Sorry.
We ended up, I mean, we wanted a mix between some really young players. So we have a 17-year-old top laner as an example. I don't think a lot of people heard about Sugenda before. And then some experienced players for LVP, like a Royson who was on Giants last year and made it pretty far as well. So it's a good mix of experience with some young players. And then we have Sansara, our Russian jungler, who is crazy, basically, in everything he's doing. Insanely unpredictable. Will just pull off random stuff. People permaban like Iron and Nunu and something stuff like that against him. He got MVP for the split. So we have actually showed up big time as a team. Which I think is why we make the final.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Also, since we've seen how many people come over from Superliga, it's always nice to keep an eye on the league over there.
I like it. Viewership has been great too, man.
Yeah.
They've done
you
a
have
great
great
job.
casters, great production, great teams. So yeah, good stuff over there. Yeah, final notes. We are going to sign off, but you guys are taking on SK or Splice. Any issue whatsoever, or?
You want? Should
You
I?
can say what you like.
Okay. Well, as Julie said before, there is a world where we, don't do our preparation well now in this upcoming week, and we falter in the next week. But I think all of us are here to win the whole thing, so we're not gonna like be satisfied with today's victory or take it for granted that we're gonna win next week. I think all of us are here to do our absolute best and win every game that we play. So it shouldn't be a problem. But at the same time, we are a little bit monkeys, I guess, about SK because we are 0-3 against them, and they're just a little bit scary, I think, in how they play. I don't personally feel scared about Splice at all. I would have preferred to play them over Vitality, so if they were to go through, I'd be very happy. But if we were to go up against SK, I feel like containing Selfmade is going to be a struggle, more of a struggle probably than containing Cowboy Shard, so we'll have to see about that one. But maybe Splice gives us a good idea of how we could potentially do it, because I don't think it's going to be a 3-0 by any means. I think they might show a couple of games what you can do to shut him down, and then also him showing a couple of games how good he actually is.
Yeah, I think that's the projection for tomorrow, possibly a 3-2 all-5 gamer. I certainly hope so, because you didn't give us a lot to look at today. So later tonight, though, it is also time for the LCS Academy. Team Liquid facing off against Cloud9. And if you missed anything from Fnatic versus Vitality, you can check out the rebroadcast after the action in Los Angeles. That was all from us here. Thank you, Hilly. Thank you, Reckless. Thank you to Fishio. We'll see you guys next week. We'll see you tomorrow for Splice versus SK. See you then.
Trade uses the Cutlass for the slow, a few more autos, wants to get forward. Oh, buying a bit more time. Whipple playing that one so well! No! Oh no!
Yeah, I'm here.
Holy shit, I'm perfect. Whipple has used the ultimate. Ultimate now coming in the corner. That's going to be 2 quick kills. Brox is so incredibly low, but does have the ultimate available. If he gets killed, he will still be able to full channel the ult. But Fnatic, they are simply too far ahead in this game. They set their sights on the Nexus, and they're going to take game 1. Brox is going to be in a tough spot. He's going to be sleepy. He has to be dead. There's literally no way out here.
I can go. I have him.
Yeah, we have him.
Oh. He's dead.
Nice. Here's plans.
Cannon's dead.
I killed her.
Stop punch. Just on a tank.
He flashed.
Can we go Nash? Okay, listen. Fnatic absolutely dominating across both of these games. They are 1 win away from taking the series. The hook, now landing it back, but he's going to give his own life for this exchange. The rocket comes in, maybe they're going to be able to grab 2 in the end. Nemesis is going to cut through him, but the ultimate now coming in. We'll be able to finish it off with the help of Jinx, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. Combos that corner, that's a very strong kill. It does get taken down. Nemesis on the edge of it. He's going to manage to live. He's been until it flashes forward. Once the reset takes a lot of damage, though, out comes the ultimate. Hook comes in, he's just going to keep it going. Does he get the chance to use the ultimate as well? He does. That's the double kill. Wants a few more. They're walking right into the fountain. They just keep beating him. That's the Quadra. Is he going to get the Penta?
Kill for Nemesis, the series is over.
And a reminder to all of Europe, Fnatic did not come into this split to compete. They came to dominate.